I feel like all I've done for the last 2 days is just say how beautiful everything is, but actually it is. Everything on the Sunshine Coast is so beautiful.
We're Eric and Sarah. For the past year, we've been traveling internationally, visiting some of the world's most beautiful destinations. Now we're back home in Canada, living in our 1980s campervan named Gord the Ford. With world-renowned beauty on our doorstep, we're traveling again. But this time, we're in our home province of British Columbia. Known for its mountains, ocean, wildlife, and diverse culture, British Columbia is one of the most beautiful places in the world.
We even have the license plate to show for it.
Our goal is to show you the best of BC and give you a reason to come see it yourself. Subscribe to follow along.
Today we are on our way to the Sunshine Coast, which we're super excited for because this is one of those places in BC that neither of us have actually been, at least in our adult years.
And even though the Sunshine Coast is connected to the mainland, we do actually need to take a ferry to get there. So right now we're at Horseshoe Bay Terminal and we're hoping to get on the 9:50 ferry. Fingers crossed, ferries have been a little bit crazy this summer, so we're really hoping we make it. Things are not looking too good. There's a lot of cars going beside us. Come on, come on. No, no, no. We're in the front of the line, but we're stopped here, so. This is so stressful.
That was me.
She gestured to you and then put the cars in there. Come on, lady, let us in. Now this is painful because we can hear the announcements and it's not sounding too good. Next to an 11. We're in 11. We're in 11. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, baby!
It's happening.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. We're doing it. Woo, woo, woo! We're literally the second to last vehicle that made it on this ferry.
You know, aside from the overpriced fares, the overpriced food, the long ferry wait, and the potential to not even make it on the ferry, I would still say the ferry is very much a great part of the journey and probably one of my favorite parts, honestly.
It's always so beautiful. I love it. After a short 45-minute ferry, we are already on the Sunshine Coast. So we will be spending the next 72 hours going all the way from Langdale to Powell River in the north, and we're going to show you all the little towns there are to see along the way, starting with GIBSONS.
So far, GIBSONS has this very relaxed way about it, and it's just a classic little seaside town with lots of little shops and just seaside cottages, and we're really getting island vibes, but as the locals adamantly have on their bumper stickers, this is not an island.
We had a couple people recommend the GIBSONS Museum to us, and it's right near downtown, so we're gonna go and check it out.
So maybe some of you watching know this, but I completely forgot that there was a very popular Canadian TV show called Beachcombers, and it holds the record for the longest English Canadian TV show ever aired, which is pretty wild, but there's a whole section here about beachcombers, which is pretty sick. They also just straight up play it in the museum, which I
awesome.
kind of dig.
It's sweet. Okay, that museum was really cool. That had so many photos and artifacts from life on the Sunshine Coast before the car ferries came, so there was less connection with Vancouver. So there's so much information about the logging and fishing industries and just daily life. It was really cool.
I feel like it's always a good idea just to go to the local museum.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know, like
It's
I feel
true.
like some people probably think like museums are boring, but I just feel like it's like, I don't know.
It's a good way to set up your trip at the beginning of a trip too.
Yeah.
It gives you some like framework for like what you're looking at, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It was really cool. Definitely check it out.
Well, it's definitely time for a beer, so we're here at Persephone Brewing, which is an absolute classic here on the Sunshine Coast. This is a beer that I've been drinking for a few years now, and it's really cool to just come to the actual brewery. Got some very full beers.
Don't drop them. Yeah.
And a soda.
Soda. Thank you, mate.
Cheers.
To the Sunshine Coast.
Yay.
It's a good cider.
Couple of tacos.
Okay, how crazy is this plant? I totally thought this was fake. It looks fake. It feels fake. And it's so cool. Eric says this is a hops plant. I don't know if that's true. Maybe comment below if you know for sure if this is a hops plant or not. Our next stop is Roberts Creek. We came here for sunset to enjoy on the pier, and yeah, I'm really excited. Whoa, look how cool this is.
Sick.
This looks cool. Look at this artwork. Wow,
This is cool.
this is so beautiful. I like this. Just a big circle of art. What the Sunshine Coast is all about.
I dig it.
Wow, how beautiful is this?
This is incredible.
This is insane. Look at this right now. Wow, got mountains all that way. This is so beautiful. Look at the mountains right now. Look at the layers. So cool.
This is too nice.
Too nice. We should leave.
Okay.
This is just my perfect evening.
This is so beautiful.
Ocean, the sun, the breeze, the mountains.
I wish every day could end like this.
I know, me too. I feel like it's moments like this where I'm just like, just grateful for life, you know?
Yeah.
I know it sounds cheesy, but it just like,
Sunsets are when we get cheesy.
just makes me grateful to be alive. This is so beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it.
Good morning. Last night we spent the night in SECHELT, and we actually signed up for a morning paddle. So we're here just north of the town at a place called Pedals and Paddles. We're just going to be going out and kayaking around some islands and to some beaches. So we're really excited for that. Just don't fall. Or
Not my
tip us
first
in.
day, Eric.
I know it's not.
And we're off.
Let's get going.
Wow, this is already so beautiful. Look at this right now. Wow. We're just going along the edge of the water here, and there's all these like areas with rocks and like clams and barnacles on them. And it's so shallow. We can see all the way to the bottom. You can see all the fish and the shells.
We sort of accidentally came at low tide. We didn't really plan this, but it's
Yeah.
actually the best time to come.
You're right, that
because-
is because now we can actually see to the
Yeah.
bottom and it looks so cool.
Yeah.
Wow, this is so beautiful.
I want to live here.
I want to live in this one for sure.
So cool.
It looks so cool. Look what we found. A little purple starfish. He's a cute one, Eric. Oh wow, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Look at the other ones. That thing looks crazy.
Like a sea cucumber or something.
Yeah, it's so spiky.
There's a bunch of them if you look down. My goodness.
Can't decide if they're gross or kind of cool.
See, this is what freaks me out about jumping into the water. I don't want to step on something like that, you know? Like,
Yeah, who knows if that thing's poisonous.
yeah,
You might die.
I probably will.
So this is marked on our map as being called the aquarium, and it's so cool. It's like a shallow, like, I don't know, what would you call this?
Aquarium?
Alcove. And it just, there's so much ocean wildlife in here, and you can just see it's super shallow. It's so cool.
Just love the fact that we can just like paddle through these islands.
Yeah.
I think that's the coolest.
Just so peaceful.
Yeah.
Like you don't hear anything other than our paddling and all the little critters.
It's beautiful. I would highly recommend doing this kayak trip. This is so cool. I feel like we could probably do this and camp along all of the beaches along the whole inlet.
Oh,
I feel like that would just be such a cool trip.
next summer.
Next summer, absolutely. But we're just stopped here at Tawanak Beach, and it's actually just in Mount Richardson Provincial Park. Gonna have a little snack, and then I think we are going to move on, kayak back, and on to the next thing. Well, we're back in SECHELT and just exploring around, and we're realizing that what's so great about the Sunshine Coast is that you're literally just on the coast the whole time. I know that sounds really redundant and obvious, but it's just awesome that you're just literally just on the water everywhere that you go. And what's great about SECHELT is that most of the buildings are actually more inland anyways, and you just have this great walkway that we're just right along the water, which is pretty
so
sweet.
beautiful.
Heard from some of the locals that this is the place to be for sunset, so we're at the Lighthouse Pub, and it is stunning here. This is a perfect place to watch the sunset. There are seaplanes coming in and out, and it's just, I don't know, low-key magical, honestly. I kind of dig it. Had to get fish and chips. I feel like when you come to a coastal area, especially in British Columbia, you have to get fish and chips.
Look at the little jellyfish. Hey, buddy. So cool. never really explained this morning, but this is where we kayaked, and it's actually the SECHELT inlet. So it's just a giant body of water that is connected to the ocean, but is just a big inlet, which is really cool. So SECHELT is doubly awesome because it has double the ocean front, and it's such a beautiful place to be.
You're probably wondering where we've been staying the last few nights, and we've basically just been using Boondockers Welcome and Harvest House, which has been a great experience, and we've done this in other cities as well. But last night was particularly special because we got to stay at a local artist place by the name of Jen Frisk. And art is super important here on the Sunshine Coast. There are so many different artists and galleries, and there's actually something called the Purple Flag Tour. So if you see purple flags around different cities or between the cities, it usually means that there's an artist nearby and you can go and check out their gallery. There's even a big art walk in October, and unfortunately we're not there for that, but Jen Frisk is a part of that, and it's just, yeah, I think it's just a really important aspect of the Sunshine Coast that we thought we should mention.
To EGMONT, and we are going to a place that I've been looking forward to for so long. We're going to the SKOOKUMCHUCK Narrows, which is going to be awesome. I've never been there before, so I'm pumped, but we have to do kind of like a little hike to get to the Narrows, and it's only 4 kilometers and not super hard so far, but it is so beautiful. I feel like all I've done for the last 2 days is just say how beautiful everything is, but actually it is. Everything on the Sunshine Coast is so beautiful. Don't you agree?
Literally everything.
This is insane. It's so beautiful. This is crazy.
This is already so spectacular.
Whoa. Wow. This is unreal.
This is nuts. So this is SKOOKUMCHUCK Narrows. Last night we were talking about where we were kayaking, and we were basically kayaking in the giant inlet that goes towards SECHELT. And so the ocean, the great big ocean, comes into the inlet, and where it comes in is at these narrow strait here. So the tidal flow is what's causing this massive river effect. And so it's really cool, but also what's the coolest is that there's just tons of kayakers coming to just enjoy this. And I think it's actually quite world-renowned for kayaking.
Yeah. And I think people surf on it sometimes too, depending on the waves.
Yeah, that's right.
It's insane. This
Yeah.
is crazy.
This is sweet. This is such a cool experience.
This is crazy.
I feel like half the fun though is just watching the kayakers.
And it's cool to see how the water changes
Yeah.
over the like half an hour we've been here.
Yeah.
Like the rapids are completely changing as the tide comes in.
Totally.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely worth it.
Yeah, and these kayakers are so skilled. It's insane. There are so many people watching here, but that's also because you have to come to the SKOOKUMCHUCK Narrows at a very specific time when the tide changes to be able to see the rushing water like this. And there's actually 2 places that you can watch it. We're at what's called Rollin' Point, and this is where you got to come if there's a flood tide, so the water is coming in. But there's also another point called North Point, and you got to go there if it's an ebb tide, so it's going out. And yeah, apparently both are super cool. We're actually here at what's called a large tide, so the water's supposed to be moving at about 20 kilometers an hour, which is insane. So make sure to check on the Sunshine Coast tourism page for the tide chart to make sure you're here at a time where it's just spectacular like this.
That is definitely a unique experience, but we have a ferry to catch.
It's time for another ferry, this time from Earl's Cove to Sultry Bay. And this one is actually included in the price we paid for the original ferry. So it's just gonna be about 45 minutes and then we'll be on our way to Powell River. We made it to Powell River. This place already has such good vibes just from driving in, but unfortunately SKOOKUMCHUCK and the ferry took a little bit longer than we planned today, so we don't actually have a ton of time to do anything in this video.
That's right, but our goal for this video was just to show you that there's a lot of beauty and activities to be had on the Sunshine Coast, and I think we accomplished that.
Yeah, and so much more to do here in Powell River, so make sure to come and check it out.
That's right, and so if you haven't seen our Squamish video, go check that out, and we'll see you in the next one. I'm so scared about jumping in the oceans. I feel like there's just always like these little things in there, like urchins and stuff, you know? I don't want to step on an urchin.
What is happening? Yes!